We live in a throwaway society, and everything that we get, we use it for a while and we throw it away. And sometimes we treat people like that. But by treating the environment in a sustainable way, we end up treating people in a sustainable way as well. It makes our city less livable.
The most important message is to get across to folks that are littering is that you should really take care of your neighborhood. When there is litter involved and it's strewn all over the place, it makes the area look like it's a dump. And that continues on. If no one cares about the neighborhood, it just gets into a thing called like a broken windows theory. People don't care about the neighborhood, it'll go into criminal activity and things.
If areas where there has been, littering or illegal dumping, people tend to start to get the impression that, oh, no one cares about this area, or it doesn't matter what goes on here.
Probably each individual should be accountable for their actions. We are responsible for how we treat our environment, and it's up to us to clean up after ourselves. No one else is going to pick up after ourselves, so if we have garbage, it's our responsibility to put it in the garbage can. But of course, people don't do that, so it's up to community volunteers and good citizens to pick up for other people.
Well, personally, I'm an environmentalist, so I do not take kindly to seeing excessive litter.
Littering affects me when I walk down the street or I walk in my neighborhood. I always notice garbage. I don't feel good about the day or even myself perhaps when I'm seeing garbage around all the time. So I try to make a point of picking up every now and then. I like having a clean neighborhood. I moved to this neighborhood a few months ago, so I felt that I wanted to start volunteering so that I was doing something active, something positive. If I'm not picking it up, who will?
I think every citizen in Vancouver should be accountable, and enforcement, I know laws are clearly stated that if you are just blatantly throwing refuse around the neighborhoods, that you should probably be held accountable through a fine.
I don't necessarily think there should be harsher penalties for littering. I think that folks need to be good corporate citizens and learn to find out where those litter receptacles, not be so lazy.
There's a lot of litter that it's not so many times people are actually taking something and deliberately throwing it on the roadway or on the sidewalk. It's just they're not careful with what they're carrying. Public litter cans, they get full, and people will try to stuff something else into the top of the can instead of just holding on to it for another block until they find something that's not as full. So we have, in the city you see it all the time, you see birds and other animals, they get into the garbage and they start spreading it around if it's available to them. So those are the kinds of things that, they're little things, but they make a big contribution to keeping the streets clean.
Marine biology is my background, so littering affects me because I feel like a lot of this garbage is going into the oceans and it's affecting our wildlife and our marine life. I guess a lot of people can really relate to litter because it looks unsightly. So that's probably a big reason why people don't like litter. But there's more reasons than that. Litter will go into the oceans and animals will eat it or get tangled up in it, or it will produce toxins in the water and the air and the beaches, or it's dangerous.
My message to people who are littering is, hey man, somebody's got to pick that up. So let's do the easy thing and just make sure we put it in the trash.
The cost of Keep Vancouver Spectacular, it's between $45,000 and $50,000 a year to run the program. It's between 6,000 and 7,000 bags of litter are cleaned up off the streets. For street cleaning in the city itself, the city budget's about $7.5 million, and that's to do mostly mechanical street cleaning and flushing. And then we also pick up abandoned garbage, so large items when we find sofas or mattresses on city property. There's a crew that does that. And the other big cost is emptying the litter cans throughout the city on city property.
Well, litter affects me most of all when my kids throw things down in our house and I have to pick it all up.
Up to the end of the year, we were able to clean about 170 blocks of the neighborhood. Again, some areas are repeat visit. The difference between visits, you know, going in there and cleaning it up, there was less litter to collect. One area that was previously a needle hotspot, people just sort of moved on because it showed more, the community cleanup showed that more people cared about the area and that it's just that certain activities people would go and do somewhere else.
Vancouver Spectacular, the messaging behind it is stewardship, that we all have a role to play in looking after our streets and our public spaces. It's a public awareness campaign, especially in the schools. So there's the city actually contracts with a theater group to produce and present a play in about 45 schools, elementary schools each year, called Clean Up Your Act. So there's messaging to elementary kids about not littering. And the other thing is just community involvement, to get people together, to bring them together from different parts of the community to work together for kind of the public good in their neighborhood.
We live in a throwaway culture and we use throwaway products, right? And I think there is a value that is translatable beyond just the initial environmental sustainability. It's more to a human level. That if we could begin to value the products that we have, the things that we use, we begin to value people as well in a different way. Maybe that's just tacit. Maybe that's just passive. But I think it's there.